Ancient yogis, Sufi masters, and Himalayan mountain monks have consistently imparted a fundamental truth. Attention is a torch that illuminates latent potential, transforming it into tangible reality. To perceive something requires bestowing presence upon it. The moment presence alights, the quantum field coalesces into a specific event. Therefore, understanding how attention directs energy is equivalent to mastering one's own existential narrative. Envision life as a vast river with infinite tributaries. Each act of intense focus selects one of these streams, and you navigate it until reaching landscapes congruent with your chosen focus. When energy stagnates, impeded by fear, resentment, or doubt, the vessel circles, replaying familiar cycles, seemingly endless debts, recurring relationship patterns, and opportunities that slip through one's grasp. Observing where one's attention resides allows one to release obstructions, dismantle eddies, and proceed toward uncharted territories. However, two primary qualities of attention exist. The first is polar, bifurcating into positive or negative polarity. Loving attracts the object of love. Hating, paradoxically, also attracts the same hated object, albeit through a distressing channel. Life does not read the label of like or dislike, merely embracing the vibrational essence. If someone repeatedly declares, "I detest bills," the universal matrix delivers more invoices because the dominant mental scene remains bills. Conversely, if someone repeats, "I adore balance," the dominant scene is financial order, attracting pathways that materialize such order. The second quality of attention is a polar neutral. It neither attracts nor repels, it dissolves. When something unpleasant arises and you merely witness it without labeling it good or bad, the matter passes like a cloud. It finds no anchoring point within your field of awareness. A significant portion of humanity has been conditioned to operate almost exclusively in the negative polarity, as information systems have understood that fear and anger are facile levers for driving behavior. Sensationalist television programs reiterate tragedies, social media platforms amplify conflicts, and headlines shriek impending peril. The more an individual witnesses these, the more they believe they need to defend themselves. And the more they strive to defend themselves, the more their attention fixates on the dreaded subject, thus energizing it. This same dynamic applies to personal dramas. Someone who has had an abusive partner often hypervigilant for signs of abuse, fearing a reenactment of the past. And precisely because they are hypervigilant, they often encounter partners with similar tendencies, reinforcing the proof that the world is hostile. Energy flows where attention directs. On this board, acceptance has become a potent antidote. Acceptance doesn't entail liking or resigning oneself. It signifies ceasing the struggle against what already exists. Whenever a situation induces constriction, try saying to yourself, "This has happened, I see it, I acknowledge it, I release it." The moment the mind ceases its resistance, the heart finds space to redirect its focus. The sure sequence for altering any scenario comprises three verbs: accept, reinterpret, redirect. Accepting, envision the worst-case scenario. Allow it to unfold mentally. See yourself surviving, breathing, learning something even within it. Once the emotion subsides, you'll know the significance has been drained. Drained significance equates to released energy. Reinterpreting. Sincerely ask yourself, what hidden blessing might reside here? Often, an obstacle closes a perilous path and compels the discovery of more fertile trails. Someone who lost a job may have gained the crucial impetus to embark on entrepreneurship. Someone rejected in a relationship may have created inner space for a partner aligned with their new level of awareness. Redirecting. Now that the anxious burden has lessened, select a desired objective and nourish it with vivid imagination. clarity of vision produces coherence between heart and mind. Coherence creates a magnetic pathway that the universe follows. Delving into the distinction between suppressing and accepting emotions is crucial. Suppressing is akin to shoving them into the basement and locking the door, but the basement is not void. Emotions ferment there. Accepting, conversely, involves illuminating the basement with a lantern, observing and allowing the contents to dissipate through the saturation of presence. No shadow endures continuous light. When welcoming even painful memories with compassionate observation becomes natural, one realizes there is no wrong emotion, only messages whose envelopes have been torn. To bridge this theory with practice, I propose a simple 21-day exercise. Immediately upon awakening, before touching your phone, sit on your bed and ask yourself, where do I want my attention to rest today? Choose a theme: vibrant health, creativity, prosperity, genuine friendship. Throughout the day, whenever you notice your focus drifting towards complaints or fear, pause, breathe 4 slow breaths, and mentally repeat the chosen theme. Do not berate yourself for the deviation, celebrate the return. In the evening, write 3 micro-evidences in a notebook of how the theme manifested. This could be a compliment received, an article teaching a new healthy recipe, a productive intuition. This journaling solidifies neural pathways and instructs the subconscious to detect more aligned opportunities. Within a few weeks, reports abound of individuals changing jobs, attracting clients, and improving medical test results. Science and spirituality converge here. Neuroplasticity research demonstrates that circuits reinforced by focused attention become preferential pathways. Positive psychology studies confirm that repeated acts of gratitude elevate dopamine levels and strengthen resilience. Millennial practices, such as the Bhagavad Gita, posit that the mind acts as friend or foe according to how it is trained. Jesus of Nazareth, through parables, also suggests that the lamp is not placed under a bowl, but on its stand, meaning the light of consciousness must be elevated to illuminate the entire inner house. Perhaps you wonder how to manage overwhelming quantities of tasks, bills, or negative headlines while striving to maintain a positive focus. The solution isn't denial, but rather adopting an active observer stance. When encountering distressing news, acknowledge the information, take any action within your power, a donation, a prayer, a clarifying conversation, and then disengage. Repeatedly revisiting the same tragedy video 10 times does not aid the victims nor you. It merely fuels collective anxiety. Being an active observer is akin to being in a storm with a waterproof coat. You feel the wind, but it does not dampen your spirit. A crucial aspect is bodily coherence. The body is an antenna, transmuting vibrations into protein, hormones, and posture. If thought declares, "I am prosperous," but the chest tightens, the nervous system perceives incoherence, triggers an alert, and sabotages the intention. Therefore, incorporate practices involving movement, respiration, living foods, and sun salutations. A lucid mind within a tense body generates a confusing signal. A lucid mind in a relaxed body propagates a clear signal. Remember that the word emotion derives from the Latin emovere, to put into motion. When we remain seated for hours, accumulating tension, we suppress the natural engine of transmutation. Let's consider a concrete example. Clara, a follower of the spiritual world, reported suffering from a crippling fear of public speaking stemming from a teenage setback. Every time her boss suggested presenting a project, she became ill. She applied the method in 3 phases. First, she accepted the possibility of failure. She imagined herself trembling, stammering, losing her job, and realized that even in this extreme scenario, she would remain alive, could seek another position, and it wouldn't be the end of the world. This significantly diminished her terror. Second, she reinterpreted the situation. She recognized that presenting ideas was an opportunity to accelerate her career, increase her income, and inspire her colleagues. Third, she redirected her focus. She weekly recorded short videos on her phone, explaining topics she mastered. With each recording, she celebrated small advancements. Within 3 months, she confidently presented at a global meeting and was promoted. The trauma didn't vanish miraculously. It dissolved because she ceased to feed its mental fuel. The same applies to finances. When someone sees a red statement and feels guilty, they usually say, "I don't want any more debt." However, the mental image remains one of debt. Rephrase, accept that the statement is negative now. View this snapshot as a neutral reminder. Then ask, what opportunity does this present? Learning about management, expanding revenue streams, increasing the value of my work. Ultimately, focus daily on signs of balance, an unexpected discount, an extra sale, the discipline of recording expenses. Gradually, the financial thermometer reflects the new vibration, because numbers are a consequence, not a cause. It is crucial to acknowledge that no practice yields efficacy if employed as a straitjacket to mask emotion. Repeating affirmations of joy while the heart burns with sorrow can only amplify the dissonance. First, embrace the sadness. Weep, journal, seek therapeutic assistance if needed. Then once the wave subsides, plant new seeds. A farmer does not scatter seeds on waterlogged soil. He waits for the deluge to pass, turns the earth, and then sows. Likewise, the mind nurtures only elevated ideas when emotion finds stable ground, even if dampened by honest tears. A valuable tool is the synchronicity journal. Record curious events, repeated numbers, objects appearing out of nowhere, improbable encounters, vivid lucid dreams. Over time, you'll observe coincidences converging upon your chosen theme. This reinforces the belief that life responds to attentiveness, providing clues like in a treasure hunt. The more you acknowledge these clues, the clearer they become. To augment this itinerary with valuable supplementary content, let's delve into 3 common questions posed by subscribers. Firstly, is it possible to maintain a positive focus without ignoring social injustices? Yes, elevated awareness is not passivity. Upon witnessing injustice, act according to your capacity. Vote, educate, donate, protest peacefully. But do not harbor a consuming hatred beyond what is necessary to effect change. Prolonged hatred crystallizes the problem within your personal sphere and fuels the collective field of violence. Act, then meditate, cleanse the heart, and return to purpose. Tuesday, how to handle family members who insist on discussing tragedy. Employ selective attention. Listen with empathy for a reasonable period, offering a glimmer of hope or a practical solution. When the conversation descends into morbid repetition, gently redirect the dialogue or suggest a shared activity. If the individual refuses, limit the conversation's duration and subsequently cultivate your energetic well-being with herbal baths or 7-cycle deep breathing. Third, what if I lose motivation? Motivation stems from clarity, coupled with physical energy. Reconnect with the overarching vision, recall why you embarked on this journey, and revitalize your physique with sufficient sleep and wholesome foods. Small, mindful rituals, such as meticulously making your bed, yield micro-victories that reignite enthusiasm. Now let's integrate all of this into a complete exercise. At night, settle comfortably. Close your eyes. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts. Visualize a blank canvas before you. Project onto it the current challenge that most bothers you, as if it were a silent black and white film. Observe without judgment. Once you achieve a state of neutrality, imagine the film acquiring color and transforming into a scene where you have already overcome the challenge. See the details of colors, scents, sounds, and bodily sensations. Experience gratitude for the lessons learned and the success achieved. Touch the center of your chest with your right hand and softly say, "Thus it is. Thus it already exists." Open your eyes, record the experience in a notebook and go to sleep. Your subconscious will work during slumber, solidifying the bridge between lines of reality. If you wish to advance your practice, set aside a Sunday for a complaint-free day. Whenever your mind points to something negative, transform the phrase into a constructive question. Instead of, "I hate this traffic," ask, "How can I use these minutes to grow?" Perhaps listen to an audiobook, practice slow breathing, or plan the week. By the end of the day, you will have exercised the muscle of redirection, recognizing that by accepting, reinterpreting, and redirecting, we create a circuit that consumes the wear previously wasted on resistance. This saved energy converges toward the desired vision and accelerates its materialization. Co-creation is not magic outside the laws. It is internal engineering aligned with the physics of possibilities. The time has arrived to ground this content in practical action. Close your eyes for 10 more seconds. Contemplate a specific area where you desire change, body, finances, work, relationships, or purpose, and commit to applying the 3-step method within the next 48 hours. Write a commitment to yourself. I, your name, fully accept my current situation in chosen area. I see potential for blessing in it and redirect my attention to clear goal. And thus I declare, and thus I move. Sign, date, and place it in your pocket or under your pillow. Before we part ways, receive this reminder. Even if your day was fraught with complexities, you have absolutely and completely overcome 100% of all prior challenges. Looking back, you will discover numerous testaments to your resilience. Therefore, trust that the same inherent strength that propelled your progress remains, now augmented by the knowledge of how to manage your focus. Profound gratitude for your continued presence thus far. If this journey has broadened your consciousness, signify with a heart in the comments, share with 3 friends deserving of this illumination, and immediately confirm your enrollment in the spiritual world. Activate the bell to receive guided meditations, alignment rituals, and spirit physics studies each week. Your participation fuels the growth of our egregora. Together we create waves of clarity that reach every corner of the planet. Until our next encounter, and may your attention illuminate paths of peace, prosperity, and purpose each dawn.